Greeting to you all. My name is Ignatius Seri Satria Wangsa from OUM. Today I'm going to present my article entitled Make Sense of It, the Role of Mediation and Perceived Benefit in an Online Learning Environment. As the background of this research is that the present era of digital, also the global pandemic, have created what so-called virtuality. This is where human life has been mediated in the area commonly known as online learning environment, most specifically in the context of educational needs. The interactivity is facilitated by technology. The term virtual interaction refers to computer-mediated interaction, replacing the conventional face-to-face interaction into virtuality. Virtuality produces new world where all parties involved in the interactivity are trying to make sense of their interaction. Within the internality part, those involved in the interactivity are using their best effort to get involved and to develop perception. And this happens to us in today's era of pandemic, where most social valuable aspects of human life are now being reduced by the space of virtuality. May I introduce the word disconnectedness, adapted from Malik and Colson, 2010, as potential limitation, or de-individuation, or social isolation, and authenticity adapted from Salomon Son et al., 2012, as opposed to computer-mediated communication. Those two keywords from the context of virtuality are relevant to guide us into the reality that despite the advantage of computer-mediated interaction, there is a potential limitation that contribute to the ineffectivity, unless the nature of social aspect in human life can be taken into consideration. Meaning to say, authenticity should be used as the main element in any online learning platform. Here, the mediation should trigger the involvement where the perception of benefit or perceived benefit could be developed. Basically, mediation that leads to the involvement is a mechanism where the authenticity itself can be achieved. However, it is necessary to engage in a pre-discussion on what authenticity we would like to have. Therefore, the author develops the following research question. What authenticity can be best described in the context of virtuality? And the research question is to describe the authenticity in the context of virtuality. For the research method, we use interpretative framework as stated by Al-Kumaim et al. 2021 and Xiao 2018. The participants were university students in Palembang, Indonesia. There were 10 participants' narratives were analyzed using content analysis, and emergent coding techniques were employed as stated in Blair 2015. The findings and discussion can be explained using the following diagram. In diagram 1, it shows that the concept of authenticity is created when the mediation can be directed to the development of perceived benefit. Involvement plays a key role. It is the participation of those involved in the interactive virtuality. The manifestation of perceived benefit is where all parties agree to reach what so-called a collective agreement or benefit to all. The interpretative framework through the employment of content analysis helps to explore the meaning of authenticity. Three orientations can be found in participant narratives. First, in diagram 2, The authenticity is identified as need satisfaction orientation. The manifestation of involvement leading to the development of perceived benefit can be inferred as participants' contribution to authenticity through the deployment of all available resources. So within this model, the involvement motive was oriented to participants' efforts to satisfy their needs. This also indicates participants' involvement in the process of interpreting new values. Participants in this model can clearly list the practical benefits, as mentioned by Chen and Zhang, 2010, obtained in the involvement process, such as time management, self-discipline, and value of responsibility. Involvement is the active participant to make sense of ritual as beneficial. The second one, diagram 3, describes a model in which participants critically look at their efforts and consider those efforts as potential investment. Narratives from participants who can be classified in this model indicate the production of sacrificial values. Participants specifically mention the valuable learning experience in which they have gone through difficulties. At the same time, they rationalize their decision to submit themselves to the online learning environment. This reflects participants' expressions of pessimism, as mentioned by Salmon et al. 2015, towards the system of virtuality, which fails to provide them with a direct benefit. And then the third, we can see diagram 4. Diagram 4 shows a conceptual framework to describe participants' involvement in response to the social reference. It is an effort to make a possible comparison with external factors, as a way that leads to authenticity. In other words, as at the individual level, mediation is manifested through participation in relation to social orientation. In this case, is participants seeking social approval. On the other hand, perceived benefit is developed through understanding of externality. This case is how external factors need to be considered in making sense of authenticity. As the conclusion, we conclude the following 3 points. First, making sense in an online learning environment requires a constant effort by all parties involved in virtual interaction to achieve authenticity. The second, the notion of mediation in the interactivity of a virtual learning environment is an active participation. In this case, is involvement of all parties contributing to the effectiveness of interactivity. And the third, involvement should lead to the development of perceived benefit. In this case, it's orientation that will provide guidance to achieve authenticity. So that's all my presentation. Thank you.